Hey man, this is Caleb. I'm here with Chris. We're talking about principles from my life story that can be applied to your life to help you achieve a great and high level of success and to sustain it. So tune in.
It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Chris Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
The Health in the Real World podcast is sponsored by most exercises and workouts, whether they be running, biking, elliptical, rowing machine, traditional weightlifting, or even CrossFit, do not give you a balanced workout. And when you do workouts that neglect even one area, you're out of balance, resulting in pain and injury as well. Achieve your goals with the fitness program your chiropractor would love. Visit chrisjanke.com/pod to watch the free video. Hello and welcome to Health in the Real World. I'm Chris Janke. I'm joined today with Caleb Stennis. Caleb's a professional football player. Caleb, how you doing today?
I'm blessed, man. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing fantastic, and I really do appreciate you joining me today. Give everyone just a little bit of background as far as how you got into football, how you got to the level that you're at, college, all that, the backstory.
Well, my story is a long one, but I'll try and make it abridged. I was born and raised in Texas, where football is king. So from the moment you come out the womb, you basically playing football. And then I moved to Maryland where I finished my high school career. Like I moved to Maryland right like my sophomore year in high school. Finished playing high school football there as well as running track. Was a great track star sprinter. And then I went to post-grad school for like a semester just to generate more interest. And then I went Division I AA FCS for Robert Morris University. Played there for about 2 to 3 semesters. And then I transferred down to a junior college to restart my recruiting process just for a year. And then I transferred right back up to Minnesota State Mankato, where I finished out my collegiate career. And then I left early in 2017. And then from there, I pretty much turned pro. And when I was working to get on, I was doing videos and all kind of stuff to try and get on. And did some some private pro days. Went to some CFL workouts. Did really well, but it wasn't sticking. Got invited to the AAF workout, got a agent, NFL agent, and then I finally got on with the spring league in Austin, where I did really well. And then after the spring league, ended up getting a publicist, where I then shortly thereafter got on with the Frisco Fighters. Got released there and then got signed immediately, like the next day, to the West Texas Warbirds. And then COVID happened, which sidelined everybody. And so, that after towards the end of 2020, I then got signed again for the Fan Controlled Football League going into 2021. Went there, was just briefly there. Got released and then got signed again that same year to the Oregon High Desert Storm. I was offered again by West Texas, but I decided to go to the Oregon High Desert Storm. Went to Oregon High Desert Storm in 2021 and did really well. I had 12 touchdowns through 6 games. Was leading the league in rushing, leading the league in touchdowns and rushing touchdowns. And touchdowns per game, or rushing touchdowns per game. And then in the middle of the season, I was picked up by the Berlin Rebels in the German Football League, the first division of the German Football League. Flew me out there, and it was kind of crazy because it was like, they called me like the time difference is crazy. They called me like 2-3 in the morning, offered me, we got the deal done. 2 days later, I was on a plane out to Germany. And I finished my season out there, the last 7 games. Did really well. I think I came in like 8th in the GFL in rushing. Led the team in all-purpose yards, rushing yards, and touchdowns. Did really well out there. And so then, came back to the States and immediately hit the ground training again, getting ready for this upcoming season, and was able to generate about 15, 16 different offers, maybe more than that, across the Indoor Football League, the Champions Indoor Football League, the American West Football Conference, the German Football League, the Poland Poland has its own league, Italy has its own league. I got offers from both of those leagues.
These leagues are starting up, right? I mean, the Super Bowl's in 2 weeks, so the NFL's winding down, but you were telling me that a lot of these leagues are just starting up, right? They're like spring leagues and things like that.
Yeah.
So you're talking about like real soon getting out there.
Yeah, they all start like in March, April time frame.
Yeah.
I did receive an offer from the Tucson Sugar Skulls arena team in the Indoor Football League, which is like the highest league in indoor. And I ended up signing with them. But like I said, with arena contracts, you can still go up to a higher division, whether it be a European league like the European League of Football, or the German Football League, or the NFL, CFL, XFL, USFL. So obviously you play arena ball so you can get to those higher leagues. You know what I mean?
Right. That makes sense. So this is great. I know you grew up in Texas, but I would imagine it's still not guaranteed that you're going to hit any kind of pinnacle like you have, getting 15 pro offers. What were some of the principles that you used that were the most valuable that you think kind of took you to that next level, that allowed you to excel as a running back and start to get some of that attention?
I think, the first one, it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's cliche, but, I just always had a unbreakable faith that I would make it to the NFL. And I'm still striving to make it to the NFL now, but I always had a undying faith that no matter what happens, somehow, some way, I'm gonna make it further than anyone else. You know what I mean? And most of the people that I went to high school with, most of the people that I went to school with, even people who may have been better than me at that time, they didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? They didn't make it professionally. They didn't make it beyond high school or beyond college into a professional career. And so, I persisted, and I just persisted beyond every pitfall, every, political situation, every transfer, so on and so forth, COVID. I mean, things happen, but you just have to keep the mission the mission. What is your mission? You have to set that mission at the forefront, and you have to be willing to do whatever it takes, obviously, within integrity. Keep your integrity about you, keep your morals and values about you, your principles about you, but within those bounds, you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary, work as hard as you can. I mean, when I was in junior college, I was living in a studio apartment with an air mattress, and man, I was like living off of a raw protein shake. You know what I mean? I was eating tuna every night. I lost like 15 pounds. I had got down to like 175, which is like the lightest I ever been since high school. But I was just grinding so hard, and I didn't have food, but I just knew like I gotta make it out of JUCO. So I sent thousands of emails trying to get back on, restart my recruiting process. I have several crazy stories within that one large abridged version that I gave you. So yeah.
So you're living off of just like protein shakes and tuna and trying to make it as a football player, where you need to act, especially a running back, you need to add a little bit of mass.
Yeah.
I would imagine that's a little bit challenging, but like anything, you're competing with all kinds of guys who want the same thing that you want. And How did you make it out of that specific situation? Because, losing 15 pounds because you can't afford to eat, or you're just too stressed to eat, or you're sending too many emails. How did you get out of that into the next level?
And it was a crazy situation. That would have ended most people's career. I actually went to 2 junior colleges in 2015. I was at one, and I was doing extremely well. And I got recruited to go to the number 2 junior college in the nation. So I transferred there in the summer. But because of the it was a 10-man out of state rule, I was ruled out. So I couldn't play for 2015. So I'm over there, basically just practicing as hard as I can, And I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna flip this practice film and still make a highlight tape, because I was just dominating just in general and practice so hard. And even though I was losing weight, I was still pound for pound one of the strongest people there. And I was always one of the fastest wherever I went. I was always one of the fastest, a 4.3 guy, 4.4 guy, legitimate. So, I put all that practice film together at the end, and I make all my own highlight tapes. Made that highlight tape, and I just blasted it out. To all the top 25 Division I, Division II, and Division I AA schools, and I did it in waves. Sent out a wave, at strategic times, like early in the morning, so I could be the first email they see, and then I continued this process. And before it was all said and done, I had generated 15, 20 offers, from various divisions, D1, AA, D2, NAIA, different offers. But Minnesota State actually flew me out there for a workout. They recruited me at the time. I think they were regularly top 5 in D2. And so, I flew out there, had an excellent workout. If you're in a situation like that where you don't have the film, or you don't have all the bells and whistles attached to you because, things just didn't go your way in your career, then you got to look like money when you show up
show up live in person with goods.
So I came out there. I think I jumped like a 36 vert. I ran like a 2.6 flat or 2.61 20, and then I did like a 4.01 shuttle, and I hit like 21 reps on bench. I think I was like 185 at the time. Yeah. And then they offered me a dual scholarship on the spot for football and track as a sprinter. Mm-hmm. I hadn't ran track in years, but I was just that fast that I could still do it. And so, that's how that happened, man. It was just persistence, man. Persistence, and you just have to, it has to go beyond faith. You have to have the kind of faith. It's not like I hope that I'm gonna make it. You gotta know. You know what I'm saying? You got to know everything that you do, from how you work out, how you practice, everything that you do, everything that I did. I read a book years ago called The Champion's Mindset, or The Champion's Mind. And it was about this. It was this guy, he got his PhD in sports psychology, and he went all around the world talking to all the best athletes, Olympic level athletes, world champion athletes. And he talked to them about all the different mental techniques and things that they do, their mindsets, everything that they do. And he compiled it in a book. And there was something that I read about this lady. She was an Olympian. She said, obviously, to prepare for the Olympics is 4 years. It's 4 years of just straight training, eating. And she said, every decision that I made, directly or indirectly, I tied it to, is this going to help me win the gold medal?
Right.
And that's the decisions that I made. Is this going to help me? Every decision that I made, everything that I ate, everywhere that I went, everything I did, is this going to help me get to the NFL? Is this going to help me get to college? Et cetera, et cetera. And so I just maintained that mindset. I just always maintained the mindset that even when things weren't going my way, or if I was in a strained situation or a less than ideal situation, hey, this is a stepping stone. This is not the end for me. I was always almost like like a lion. Like if I see a box, I'm a turn and I'm gonna always find a way out. You know what I mean? Find a way out, find a way to keep moving forward.
Right. I like that. So what do your workouts look like these days as you're vying for contracts, and what do you do to work out right now to push to the next level?
Well, I have a trainer. So I have a trainer. We go, actually I had a session this morning. We go every morning around 7:30, 8 o'clock. Work out for about an hour and a half. And then some days I do 2 days where I'll go and then do skill work as well. So more position specific, work on the field, footwork, ball drills, various different drills to prepare me for what I'm gonna do on the field. And I just keep that formula. And that's pretty much how I do, man. It's really about showing up. You set the plan, you make sure that your plan is good, make sure that what you're doing day by day is going to contribute to the overall product that you put on the field. And then, the rest should take care of itself. Pray, and eat the right things, make sure that your diet is on par. And then, I record a lot of my workouts. So if you go on YouTube, you can find, I put like part one of my off-season workouts on YouTube for the 2022 season. And it's like 15 minutes worth of workout videos, and it's good stuff too. It's entertaining to watch. It's not like, some guy just doing the ladder. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
It's worth watching. So I got another video like that too from my previous off season before this last year. So both of those are on YouTube. Yeah, I do all kind of stuff, man. Sprinting on the high speed treadmill, band resisted sprints, all the weight room stuff you can think of. Very explosive stuff. But we also get in the heavy weights, snatches, squats, it's just a lot of stuff dealing with balance, shoulder mobility, shoulder health, conditioning, speed work, like raw speed work, technique work, programming your body to move. Like different moves can be programmed into your body. You know what I mean? You do this, you practice specific moves, you can program them into your body to where you just do it naturally and it just comes out. So, we do what I would call body programming or skill training.
Right.
And it's kind of like, jambalaya. You throw a bunch of different ingredients in there and you just mix it up and it tastes good.
It tastes really good. Add a little spice to it, a little speed, little and just the love. I can tell you have the love for the game. Obviously, you've been doing this for a long time, and then just the overall. You could be as fit as you want, but if you don't have that field vision, you don't know how to hit the holes, stuff like that. So I'm sure you practice all that, and you've been doing that forever too. What would you tell somebody? Let's say whether they're an athlete or not, we can go both directions. But even if they're not an athlete, what would you tell somebody if they are hitting that what looks like a wall? And we know there's always a way around it, over it, through it, whatever. But maybe it looks like a wall at that moment. What do you tell that person? Like, what's your motivational speech to that person at that point?
Are you done? That's the first thing you gotta add. You gotta ask yourself. And even in the weight room, I talk to myself. I just had a hard set. I'm tired. I just be like, "You're not done, Kevin. You're not done." I just speak to myself. But you have to know before you even get started. Don't get in the middle and then be like, "Hold on, wait a minute, let me reevaluate." You gotta know before you even get started how badly you want this. Because where there's a will, there's a way. And that's the truth. That is the God honest truth. Where there's a will, there is a way. As long as you have a will that is strong enough to persist beyond any obstacle, the way will present itself. You will find the way. You will find the solution to the problem. You will figure out, what to do. That's like, so in 2015, I got my in 2015 or 2014, I was like, man, I wanted to learn how to eat right, because nutritionists just charge crazy rates, even for one meeting. It was like $500 for one meeting, you know what I mean? For some handouts. I'm like, no, so I need to figure out how to eat. So I just thought to myself, like, man, I really want to learn how to eat. All of a sudden, I started getting emails randomly from Precision Nutrition. And I applied, and I was like, oh, they had their year-long program, and it was like some crazy price. I was like, oh, I don't have that money. But when I dove into it more, they had a payment plan for 12 months that allowed me to do like $88 a month for the year. So I was able to do that. I did that, and I was doing the National Academy of Sports Medicine.
Yep, that's a good one.
Certified personal training certification at the same time, and I was taking summer classes, and I was doing a sports performance internship for Bobby Stroupe, who runs APEC, who's Patrick Mahomes' trainer, Kendall Hunter, some of those guys out in Tyler, and I was working out at least twice a day for a while, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I was juggling all these things, but I knew the end result is by the end of this year, I want to be a personal trainer. I want to have that certification so I can flip that to make money and help people, because it's one thing if you're just saying this, but then you just like everybody else, like you need credentials to validate what you're saying. So I want to have that. I want to be well-rounded. I want to complete this internship and do it all at the same time. Get it all done in one fell swoop. I don't like taking a long time to do things. I like to just boom, you know what I'm saying, get it done. And I just had the mindset that no matter what happens, I'm going to finish this. And that's the mindset that you have to have. When you start something, you have to have it to where there's no plan B. Like when you really have faith in what you're trying to do, there's no plan B. I ain't saying that it's not wise to have a plan B. I ain't saying that it's the wisest thing, it's the most prudent thing, but you will find that everybody who had a plan A and they stuck to it, eventually it worked out.
Right.
Eventually it worked out, some of the most successful people in the world. So I would say to them, where there's a will, there's a way. And I was reading this book recently, Millionaire Success Habits.
Yeah.
And he was talking about this method that he hired this guy, and this guy taught him. He was called 7 Levels Deep. And so he asked him, like, what is a goal? Like, let's just say your goal is, to get lean. And he said, okay, you've told me that you want to get lean, but why do you want to get lean? Well, I want to look good for my family. Okay, you told me that you want to get lean because you want to look good for your family, but why do you want to look good for your family? And it just goes 7 levels deep. And then he said every time, for some reason, 7 was the magic number to where they got to their deepest why. What is your deepest fueling why that's going to sustain you beyond the pain, the loss of relationships, the failures, the twists and turns, et cetera, as you go down that path, you know what I mean?
And the more you can identify with that 7th layer, as opposed to the top layer of like, I want to look good in a bathing suit in a month.
Yeah.
You go low, you go deep, then that's how you take the hits, metaphorically, right? So
because it's gonna supercharge your emotion.
Right. Exactly.
It's gonna go deeper than mental, like mentally, like I know that I want to do this, right? But then there's something that's deep inside you that almost, jerks that tear out of your eye. And that's what you want to pull from,
What goes into that level of faith, like you were talking about, just having faith, like I'm going to make it to the NFL, and like you said, it's deeper than emotion. It's a knowing, it's a depth of a character. It's like your character, it's part of you, it's who you are. Yeah.
For sure.
Caleb, how do people get in touch with you? Social media, website? I want to give you a chance to talk about anything you have going on with that.
Yeah, man. So I'm pretty accessible, man. You can hit me on Twitter at C_5_go_crazy. Then you can also hit me on my Instagram at C_5_go_crazy. And then you can look me up on Facebook as well, Caleb Stennis. and then I have like, a cajillion videos on YouTube as well, good content, highlight videos, and all kind of different videos that I can be. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on any social media. You can find me on Snapchat too. And I think it's at Lil Texas with or no, it's at Texas 05. And then it's Texas is spelled with 2 X's. So you can find me on Snapchat as well. I'm all for helping people out and helping people, just guiding through life, also doing ministry and helping people get healing, helping people get guidance and direction, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I wish you all the best, and I know you're going to go really far, hoping to see you in a 49ers jersey, but if you end up playing for the Cowboys, I'll still root for you. So
Yeah. Man, 49ers is balling though.
Man,
Jimmy G shocked me, man. He doing this thing, so
they I think they didn't play very well against the Cowboys, but
Debo did.
Debo did.
That guy,
yeah. And then they played pretty well against Green Bay in the snow. That's I'm sure you played a lot in the snow in Minnesota, but that cannot be easy.
Yeah, no. Well, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't as bad as you would have thought. Like, for some reason, I don't know, the Lord must have lined up. It was mild. Yeah. Now, when I was at Robert Morris, the weather was terrible. It was terrible. It was like just the nastiest cold, and it lasted so long. That winter went. I think I got there in the fall of 2013. The winter went for till like March, April, May. Let's see, March, April of 2014. Like, it was just a long. I mean, ice was still on the side of the road. It was like, it was crazy, man.
Oh man,
yeah.
That does not sound fun. Well, you're talking about going to Germany or Poland. Expect more of that, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at Germany. I like the European League of Football. So, talking to some teams over there, that's a big possibility. And then also, like I said, I have offers in the German Football League, the GFL1, which, I could go back to my team, the Rebels. And then there are some other teams that have offered me there. So, I could go back to that league. It's fun. And then also we have the FAM, which is a new league, the Soy family. Trent Richardson is going to play over there, and several other ex-NFL guys are going over to play in one of the Mexican leagues. So, all of them are great opportunities. I would encourage anybody who's trying to be a professional football player to look into all those leagues, because right now, as a professional football player, it's never been a better time to be a pro football player than it is now. It's so many jobs out there.
There's so many leagues, right?
Yeah, so many leagues. I mean, if you don't have your passport, I don't know what you like. You're behind the 8 ball. Like, you can't even accept.
No, 100%.
I dare say 3/4 of the opportunity, 2/4, 3/4 of the opportunities, because you can't go nowhere. You landlocked.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Caleb, this has been a great interview. Thank you so much for joining us. I just want to kind of conclude and remind everybody that although Caleb's achieved a very high level of success with football specifically, even if you're watching this and you're not an athlete, you can learn from his principles, just knowing what you want, expecting it, knowing that you're going to put in the work, sending out thousands of emails early in the morning, all those good things, and eventually something's going to move. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, and we will be following you for sure.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for having me on. Hopefully somebody will be able to watch this and glean something from it.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World Show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.